books are actually related to her experiences and what she's been through in life and what she's achieved. And the prayer journal is about her faith and her strength. She's also an owner of All in One Creation, which is something that she does on her, well, it's something that she does by herself, and she actually just makes party favors, flyers, treats, personal things for people, stickers, t-shirts, many things that she does on that. And she also runs a non-profit organization called Bold. Now, the word bold means beautiful, outspoken, leading dolls. Beautiful, outspoken, leading dolls. She actually helps particularly young girls, 13, 14, 15, very young girls, even 12, with parents, and takes care of them, guides them, helps them, builds their confidence up. Actually, then she actually puts them in the right direction and helps them. She doesn't leave them, she takes them to the end. She's really good. So, yes, we're waiting for her to come on. As soon as she gets on, we'll get her on and we'll have a nice conversation with her. The lady's been through a lot, especially in her teenage times when she said to me, she goes, my parents were brilliant, they gave me a good upbringing, they were really good parents, but I just still chose to go on the fast track of things. So she goes, I don't blame my parents, it was part of me that actually took that role and took that passage and that road. And she got that led me to things which were very difficult, but she was still young. And I would like her to talk about when she comes on. We can discuss it then.
Wow. Well, we'll see what happens. I'm gonna come over there in a minute. I'm just on the just setting up the YouTube thing.
No problem.
Thing. We might have Tamara might be calling in today as well. I'll leave that. Oh, it's just come on.
Yep.
Right. Yeah, Tamara might be on today. We're gonna we're gonna live stream this thing.
Why do we what? Sorry, what was that, Bless?
We're gonna live stream this.
I think there's a bit of a technical problem going on here for some reason.
Yeah, are we gonna live stream this on WhatsApp, Facebook, or whatever?
So what are we doing now?
We're talking, my dear. We're
Are,
talking.
are, are we on live right now?
Yeah, we're live. We're live. We're live. We're live.
Well, I
All
hope
right.
so.
Yes, we are. Just a little
Okay.
check and thing, just to make sure everything is okie dokie. Right.
Brilliant.
Yes, my dear. So today we're gonna have a conversation with a lady.
Sharenika Lashay.
Right, Sharenika. Right.
Yes.
For those who've been locked on over the past few weeks, you kind of know what the show's about. For the
Mm-hmm.
past few weeks, we've been talking about women that's been abused, went through abused. Last week we talked to Tamara, a man who was abused by his parents. He's also written a book
Mm-hmm.
called From Rehab to
Yep.
Life, or From Life to
Mm-hmm.
Rehab, whichever way around it goes. No, From Rehab to Life, innit? Because you can't be life and then go into rehab, innit? Right, so he's done
Yeah.
that. And today we've got another guest calling in. For those who are locked in or don't, you can get us on the YouTube, which is Bless. We're trying to sort that out now. It's actually loading up. Bless Radio, the number one. Yeah, that's YouTube.
Yeah.
That's where you can get the shows if you've missed any of them. If you want to take part in the debate, the number is
Mm-hmm.
079 079 444 31366. Again, 07944431366. Or you can go to the YouTube channel and you will see the number there blatantly. Yeah, so just in
That's
case you
right.
don't catch it. Yeah,
Right.
right.
If you look onto your radio phone right now, she sent the live ID. If we can see if we can connect her through that, please.
What, through the phone?
I've just sent you the ID
What
on your
ID?
phone. So Shanika's just sent that. So she's trying to get on as well.
What, on the studio phone?
Yep. See if you can add that to the Skype.
Oh, hold on. She's supposed to be on the Skype. I don't know which she gonna be on.
She's actually sent the message to you, so you need to add her on now. She's on Skype now.
No, she's just. I haven't seen her come up on here. Let me have a look. Let me have a look.
Mhm.
I doubt it though. You know what I mean? All right. No? She's not here. No.
Well, she's trying to get on.
Nah. Can't you add her from your end because I can't. I don't see her on here. To be quite honest, I'm on the Skype. We're both on the Skype, so she would have been up in it.
Yeah, she's gonna have a look now. She's gonna try and connect with you on Skype in a few minutes. She just text me, so hopefully, so we can connect her.
Okay. Who's this?
Sharenika. Let me just start again. Sharenika Lashay. She's a model actress, and she's an author. She's for 2 books. One called Hustle Through Pain, and one's a prayer journal. Hustle Through Pain is obviously about her life experience and what she's been through. Prayer journal was the actual reason, and may I say, it was a breaking point for her where she realized how important faith was for her and what was she doing wrong when she was praying, and how she found the right way of praying with conviction and with dedication and with honesty. And that's why she wrote that book called Prayer Journal. And also, she's the owner of All in One Creations, which is she actually does stickers, shirts, labels, so anything that's personal, party flyers and party favors. That's what she owns. And she also runs a non-profit organization called Bold. Bold means beautiful, outspoken, leading dolls. And she actually speaks and talks and helps young ladies. Right. Can you just press the click call button, please? Because I think she's on there. She's actually tried to connect with you.
No, I'm on. We're both on it. I haven't seen it.
Okay.
I've only seen you on this.
Let me try and
No
see
new
then what I can
notifications.
do.
Yeah. Because
I'm thinking, Breast. Let me just try the WhatsApp.
Okay.
Because it's easy for her, I think. She's on there now, but she can't seem to click. Right, should we do it on your Blessed Radio number then? Station number.
What's she gonna go WhatsApp then? She gonna go WhatsApp?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to do that because she can't seem to connect to
Because I can't. Can't you just give me her details and I'll just put it in the Skype and call her?
She tried to do, yeah, but I can't connect it for some reason. I don't know what the issue is. So I'll use a studio number. Is that okay?
Alright, go on.
Hi?
Because I don't see her on here at all.
That's right. So should we use a studio number?
Who is what's her name?
Sharenika.
Nah, it's not on here, mate.
That's right.
It's not on here, mate.
Okay, so should I use the studio number?
Yeah, anyone. Anyone.
Okay, here we go. I might have to turn off the Skype, okay?
Okay.
Themselves against time. For
Right, so we're waiting for the caller to call in. Okay. Aye. Aye. Hello. Wow. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Oh, you can hear me, yeah?
Yes. Yeah.
You sure you can hear me? You're not pretending to hear me. You're not just saying yeah to make me feel good, yeah? Alright, make I get my stand.
I can hear you.
Okay, make me put my camera up on the thing so I can see you guys clearly.
Right, me too. Let me slide back something.
Right to you. I've got to see what you guys are doing. Oh gosh, what technology, innit? I've got to put this on that, that on this. Oh, right. Yeah. Sorry about this. Right.
Hi,
Don't
Bless.
get this thing. All right. Oh gosh. It's kind of wonky. Aye, yes, that's it. Right. Okay, people. We're ready for them again. Right, we're going to have to give you another number to call in. Just in case you don't want to call in live, because we're using the live numbers now for this thing.
Okay.
Right, UNITYFY, how you doing?
Not so bad. Bless.
You sound low though. You sound a bit low though.
Right, okay.
I can't hear you, mate. You sound low. You sound low.
Is it okay now?
No, you sound very low.
Really?
How are you? I'm sounding loud. I can hear your caller in the background. I can hear her music. I can hear her got the television on or something in the background. Look how close my camera is, man. Make me look like a criminal. Yeah, I mean. Right. Unity, I can hear you. Check, give us a voice check. Say hi, Unity.
Hi.
Unity, speak up, man. Don't be shy. You're going on the shy again. We don't have time for this today. Right. Dodgy technology. Right. How you doing?
Okay. Let me just tell the viewers. This is Sharenika Lashay.
Yes.
She's a model and an actress. She's author of 2 books, Hustle Through Pain and Prayer Journal. Hustle Through Pain is about her personal experience, which we'll discuss with her as we go along. And Prayer Journal is about her faith and how she realized how to pray. And I'm telling you, it's an eye-opener for me as well. And how she realized the way she was praying was not right. So she's actually wrote this book for that. Owner of All-in-One Creation, where she does party favors, flyers, treats, personal stickers, t-shirts, anything, and that you want to, you want to do for your parties or anything which is very personal.
Hey, Unity, your mic's low, you know.
All right. Also, can you hear me now? She runs a non-profit organization called Bold. And the Bold means beautiful, outspoken, leading dolls. She helps young girls, teenage girls, and she does not just help them, she takes them to the end. She looks after them. She guides them. She takes care of them. She finds provisions for them. She works with their parents. She does a lot, this girl, and she's only 29.
Hi, what's her name again? How do you say her name?
Sharenika Lashay.
All right, Sharenika, yeah, you sound clear. You sound nice. Unity, your microphone sounds low.
Doesn't matter, as long as Sharenika sounds nice, it's all about her.
Yeah, but you sound like, if you go into your settings and turn your microphone to the maximum.
Okay.
Right, and I'll have a talk with Sharenika, is it? Am I saying it right?
Sharenika.
Sharenika.
Yeah, it's fine. Sharenika, yeah.
I'm gonna call you Shanika, right? Right, my dear. I've heard a lot about you, right? I like your hair though.
Okay.
I like your hair.
Thank you.
Different, nice and
Thank you.
bright. For those who can't see it, her hair is exactly the same as it is in the picture. Exactly the same. Right. So tell us about yourself.
So, my name is Sharenika Lashay. I currently live in Atlanta. I'm from a small town called Thompson, Georgia. I have 2 kids. Just bought a house last year. Oh, it's a lot. I left my 9 to 5 to pursue full time entrepreneurship in August this year, and so ever since I left my 9 to 5, I mean blessings just been coming like back to back, and so it just been mind blowing. So that's a little something.
Okay.
But I'm a type of person. I always go by faith. A lot of people they'll look at my life and like, how did you do this? How did what made you get the courage to do this? So I always be looking at it. And I do things that other people will think don't make sense, and
Yeah.
then in the end it makes sense.
Okay. Like what? Give us an
So,
example.
for example,
Yeah.
okay, so if, for example, moving to Atlanta, moving to a location that I don't have any family, and moving down there when I had a newborn baby, it to man, it don't make
So, as you
sense.
can
Like,
imagine,
why would you move somewhere that you didn't have no job, you didn't have nowhere
With
to
our
stay?
fast payments,
But
you can
literally,
top up
I
yours
heard,
or a family member's pay as you
I
go
heard
through
what the
the
God
service
telling
without
me to
hassle.
move, so I had to block I had to block people common sense, block people opinions about what I'm supposed to be doing. So it don't make sense to move somewhere and sleep in your car knowing your parents have a home and you can go to your parents' house and stay with them. So and the outsider looking in, like, why would you do that? That don't make sense. Like, why would you go sleep in your car when you have somewhere to stay?
Yeah. Yeah.
But it
So,
was in another.
go on.
I didn't have no family, nothing. But literally, when I took that faith move, everything started lining up back to back, back to back.
Okay. So we're gonna talk a lot about what you've been doing and what you've been through and why are you here. What are you here to tell the people?
So I'm here to on the show today.
Yep.
So I'm here to encourage people, also to insight, bring insight and to sex trafficking, and to bring awareness to it, and also to encourage people that's lacking in faith and lacking in their purpose. Because a lot of us, we all have a purpose for something, but a lot of people don't even know what their purpose is.
Yeah. Yeah.
So just basically give you a strategy and insight and like basically like a little wisdom on how to do things, go about doing stuff.
All right. So, would you like? Can we just talk about anything? We talk about like what's happened to you in the beginning, your journey? Like, how did it
Yeah.
start? From a child
Yes, we
growing
can talk about
upwards.
You said what?
Can you tell us about your life journey as a child growing up and what happened along the way?
Got you. So as a child growing up, I always felt like I was in competition with my siblings, and so it was like growing up. It was that I was trying to fill a void because I didn't feel love at home, and so I'm seeing everybody celebrate my younger brother, and everything he did, no matter what he did, everything he did, it was perfect. Everybody supported him. But it was time for me. Anytime I did anything, nobody never supported. Nobody never came to like no games that I had when I started playing sports. Like it was nothing I did that was good enough. So I started lying and doing things just to try to feel accepted. And so when I wasn't seeing that acceptance, I basically battled with rejection. And so when I started battling with rejection, I tried to seek something to fill that void to make myself feel loved because I didn't feel loved. So that was made me start transitioning to seeking out the attention. That's what made me start seeking out the attention from man because from a relationship in a male relationship because I felt like I wasn't getting that from my father. So that led me to wearing wearing tight clothes, short clothes, hoochie mama clothes. They're trying to seek that attention for other people, the wrong attention. And that's exactly what I did. I got the wrong attention from the wrong people. And so when I started getting into the streets and stuff, different people was approaching me the wrong way because they was approaching me how I was carrying myself. And so that led to growing up. Also, we always went to church all the time. I was raised up in the church, and so we didn't miss a beat. We was the first one there, and we was the last one to leave. So, because my parents was a part of the executive board, so I was so tired of going to church. We went to church like 4 times a week, and so I was like, when I got old enough, I'm not going back to church. I was churched out. So when I went to college, I was like, I'm not going to church. When I get grown, I'm not going back to church because I'm tired of church. I'm tired of these fake people in church. I was just tired of everything. So when I went to college, I went like literally buck wild. And literally I still was searching for that void, to fill that void in a relationship that I didn't have with my daddy. And so, because your daddy is your first love. And so, once you feel rejected by your daddy, you start looking for that relationship in a man. You're really looking for trying to fill the void that father figure in a relationship.
Yeah.
And so, but it was just mind blowing. So it turned to me seeing that I was getting attention from the streets and seeing how men was reacting to my hoochie mama clothes and me doing this and me dancing and stuff. So I loved the attention. I was getting a lot of attention, but it was the wrong attention. But I was just craving attention so bad that I just got addicted to it because I never had it before. And so it went to I know, like, back in high school, I always had a passion and dream for modeling acting. I love to take pictures. I love to update my portfolio. So I started searching for different acting and modeling gigs online. And so some of it I was thinking, because I was new amateur. So when I saw adult film, I'm thinking that, okay, adult film, this movie, that's this and that and the third, whatever. So I go to a person address where they have the address, whatever, not even know where I'm going to, and they have everything set up, but it's for they trying to film a sex tape. So I was like, oh no, they was like, well, that's what adult film is, but I didn't know. And so then I kept searching and searching, and I was like, everything I was applying for, I was like, why it seems like nobody willing to work with me unless I was willing to have sex. But so I was so desperate to do modeling, acting, and I was around well-known celebrities. And so I was like, well, I'm just going to have to do what I got to do to try to make it to the top. So I was willing to try to sleep my way to the top. And so it got to the point that I was like, hey, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to have a bad name, because I had my oldest daughter at the time. And so I didn't want her to grow up seeing videos of her mama or hearing bad things about her mama. Like, the only reason why she made it was because she slept her way to the top. So I told God and I prayed, and I was like, I don't want to live that lifestyle anymore. I want completely out. I'm tired of this. I'm tired of getting taken advantage of, and I'm tired of hurt and stuff. Because it was so much out there. I don't want to end up getting something. And so I was like, I'm done. Whatever I got to do to try to do it the right way, I said I want to do it the right way. And so and I literally told God to give me so many hustles that I would never look back at my past and never have to go prostitute or dance again. So literally after I prayed that prayer, I say about 2 weeks ago, I still was applying different stuff, but I tried it with a different approach. And so I did my research this time, and I thought these people was like legitimate. They are legit people, but I thought it was a legit business. So this man had invited me over, saying that how he's gonna give me a contract, and I like your pictures, I like your work, and etc. whatever. So he was like, I want you to get to the real money, and he gave me the address where to come to. And so he had all these well-named celebrities in his house. So I'm thinking, this is legit, but just something didn't sit right in my stomach. I started to feel sick to my stomach, like something don't seem right, don't feel right. So I text my friends. I said, if anything happened to me, I'm at such and such address in Atlanta. And so that was like, you doing something crazy. Like, you always somewhere you ain't got no doing. You always going to somebody's address you don't know. You can't be doing that. You can be somewhere, end up dead. It's too much going on. So I was like, well, it is what it is. I think I have an opportunity now or whatever. So I told them, I texted two of my best friends. I was like, okay, but make sure you hear from me. No, I didn't send them that then. When they start asking me questions about do I do drugs, have I ever did drugs, the manager that's supposed to be the manager, he was like, have you ever tried drugs before? You ever tried cocaine? You ever tried Molly? You ever tried XPU, Xan, and all kinds of stuff? You just name it. I was like, no, I never tried no drugs or whatever. He was like, you want to try it? And I was like, no, if I'm going to try it, it's going to be on my own terms. It's not going to be somebody trying to make me try it or whatever. And he was trying to tell me how it's good for you. And I was like, well, I mean, it might be good for you, but if I want to do it, it's going to be on my own terms, not somebody wanting me to do it. And so he just kept trying to tell me why I should do it or whatever. He was like, it's going to make you loosen up some. You like real tight. It's going to make you loosen up some. So I was like, okay, this kind of feel weird. So I had text my friends and I was like, make sure you hear from me by the next day because this don't feel right.
You don't feel safe yet.
Where's the charger for
So, only thing I remember about that night, I remember asking for something to drink. I got real thirsty or whatever because I was there for a long time. And so he asked what I wanted to drink, and I told him I wanted the kinky. I remember I was drinking the pink kinky, and they had the kinky whatever. And so it had to already be in the drink, or he had to pour it in the drink. He had to be done poured it inside the drink. But I didn't think about it. I didn't pay no attention that people can do that. I didn't think about it or whatever. Only thing I remember that night was getting real sleepy after I drunk something, and I literally I remember blacking out and not remember what else happened at night. So after that, I remember waking up that morning with a lot of energy and feeling good or whatever. And so I remember him asking me, he was like, how do you feel? And I was like, oh, I feel good. He was like, I told you. I was like, told you what or whatever. And he was like, I told you. He said, I told you it was going to make you feel good. And so I was like, what you mean by that? He was like, you was on this, you was on that, you was on something, everything. And he was like, you were in last night. I was like, how? I was like, no, because I don't do that. I didn't go in. I didn't do this. Even though I know I did some crazy stuff. I done did prostitution. I done did dancing and stripping.
Can I ask you something? Hello, can I ask you something?
Yeah.
When they gave you whatever they put in the drink, yeah, did anything happen that night?
Yeah, blessed. She's going to get to that point. That's why I said proper.
Oh, I can't wait though. I'm just like, I want to know now. All right, then cool. All right, go on. All right. I'm in a rush, man. I just wanted to like get to the beat. All right, go on, take your time. Go on.
Okay, so after he was like, you went in last night. I was like, no, I didn't go in because I don't do that or whatever. I say the most I know I have done stuff in the past, but mind you, I had just said this prayer that I wanted to get out the game and I want to stop and change my life over or whatever. And so I was like, no, I don't do that anymore. So I was like done, really within denial that nothing happened. He showed me a video. He was like, no, you went in and showed me a video. And I was like, hold on. So y'all really recorded this whole thing. I'm talking about a whole set, whatever. So y'all don't record the whole thing. Me not even knowing y'all recorded it. And so he was like, I told you the mollies and the cocaine, all the stuff. I told you all this stuff gonna make you feel good. And whatever else he had, I'm put in it. Because I told it gonna make you feel good or whatever. And so I literally cried. He was like, what's wrong with you? I was like, no, I just gotta go, whatever. So literally I got all my stuff. I had lingerie on at the time, and so I literally like threw on a t-shirt, put my clothes on, and just left. Because I was so, when I say so embarrassed, I was so embarrassed at myself. Like, how could you let it get this far? And so I got in my car as I was putting the GPS in my phone to go back to Statesboro to college. And so I just boohoo cried in the car. I pulled around the corner because I didn't want to do it in the driveway. I just cried my eyes out and I screamed. I yelled to the top of my lungs, whatever. And so I told God, I was like, God, if you cover this up and you don't let this video get out, I promise I will run after you like never before. Like, I promise I'll surrender whatever that I need to change. Like, I was so terrified of that video getting out because, mind you, I have a daughter. And then plus a lot of people, my family didn't know I was doing it at the time. And so I didn't want they come from all this Christian background, so I didn't want none of my hometown seeing that. So when I say I was super embarrassed and shamed, and so I like boohoo, I was in so big of a deep fear that it was like mind blowing. So later on, I sent an email to them, letting them know like if that video was to get out, that I'm gonna press charges, do this. I'm basically like I'm gonna try to forget what happened because that was low down. But if that video was to get out, I'm gonna do such and such and do this and do that, whatever. Third. And go to the police about it. So they never responded to the email. But what happened was I received a phone call, a private phone call. So now I understand. Back then I didn't understand why they didn't respond. But now I understand they didn't respond because they didn't want to leave a paper trail of themselves showing communication. So, anyways, and plus they blocked me, and so they called me back private and basically saying, "Yeah, I got your email, and if you was to go to anybody about it or say anything, it would be all over social media, or whatever." Around that time, Real Star Hip Hop was very popular, and so I was like, "Well, it could be all." I said, "If it was all over social media or whatever, they'll see you in the wrong." They were like, "No, technically," they were like, "We didn't." First of all, they said, "We didn't make you do that." They said, "You did that on your own. We didn't force you to do anything." And so if you look at the video, I mean, even on the video, it would look like if it was to be put out, it would look like I allowed it to
You
happen.
had a consent to it, yeah.
Right. And so it was just mind blowing. So I just walked in fear and walked in silence for like 8 years. Really, to be honest, I didn't say nothing about it until last year. And this happened like back in like 2011, and so I'm just not saying something last year, but I felt like I was freed from it. Well, I'm not gonna say I felt like I was over it, and I felt like that I forgave them fully because I just left it alone. I just kept on going, and I just forgot about it. But what happened was I ended up being numb to it. And when people asked me about it in the past, even though I was honest, but I never went into full detail, I just sugarcoated. I never told the full story. And so when I heard about the sex trafficking that was going on real bad in Atlanta last year, I was at work, and I had the news on my lunch break, and they had all these people on the news talking about how the sex trafficking going on in Atlanta, and I just broke down crying in the break room, and I'm like, why I'm crying? I'm because I started feeling everything that I was feeling. And so I just started feeling super scared. I started feeling nervous. I'm like, what is going on? Why I'm feeling like all of this when this happened long time ago? I felt like I forgave them. I didn't put them on blast. I didn't say no name. Even when I wrote the book, I didn't call no names out or whatever. So I felt like I forgave them. Why I'm feeling like this? And so that's when God started dealing with me. He was like, because you never told your full story.
Wow.
He said, you just told bits and pieces, but you never told the full story. So I was like, oh my God, I really never did tell the full story until just last year. And I opened up and I told like majority of the story and told people what I went through. And a lot of people was like, oh, I didn't know you went through that. But really, I just went into full details of the story this year. Now I told people last year that I was a victim of sex trafficking, but I didn't tell people fully the details until this year. So it was but I know, but now I'm in a place that, well, not even now, even last year I was in a place that my past can't hold me back anymore. I'm not ashamed of my past. So even if today, because when the higher you go, the different people try to pull up your past and bring up your past. Yeah. Even if something was to come out that something I did in my past, I know how to own my past. Yep, that was me. But guess what? Yes, I did it. But this is me now. That was me then. And so it's like I'm not ashamed of my past anymore. So therefore, past can't even hold me back. That's why I can openly talk about whatever in my past. I don't care how nasty it is, how bad it is. I don't care what it is. I literally did drug trafficking, sex trafficking, and all, like, literally. But what happened was the person that's supposed to be my manager, he was trying to put me on his escort company. So that's what that was. And so these people, they go get hotel rooms and they'll go buy probably like 10 rooms at one hotel and station different women at all the hotel rooms and have different people coming in all the time. And then they'll go get another hotel and they'll book like 10 rooms. They'll switch out the hotels, but the owner of the hotel will be in on it because they pay the owner of it. Owner of the hotel, no, because they pay them. And literally they'll book out like they'll get buy like 10 rooms, and the owner would know he would know about it.
So since you've owned up and you've actually come out with it now since last year, so have you been getting in contact, or have people been girls been contacting you regarding this matter?
So I say 2 girls. They contacted me, asked me how did I stop. They contacted me saying basically like they got this situation going on and they feel like it's leading to that because they don't start prostituting. And so that was like they feel where I'm coming from. They say everywhere they go is like it's kind of creepy. Like everybody want to try to, for what reason? Everybody want to give you drugs. And that's the catch. And like one girl, somebody ran a train on her. They gave her drugs. She blanked out, and they ran a train on her.
Okay.
So it's mind blowing. So I did have to mentor 2 girls that were going through something like that. But with one of the girls, that actually saved her life as well. So it made her, now she don't went back to school. She's a young girl, and like this, she's still in the teens. So she now went back to school and now like bettering herself. But it took for that situation to happen to put her back on the right track. Even though it's sad that it takes for bad stuff to happen to make us like analyze our life. Like, okay, I gotta do right. But we put her back on the right path.
Yeah. Right, Bless, do you want to ask her anything before we move on to the next question?
I got a shopping list here. You know what I mean? Well, you said right at the beginning, yeah, that it was a lack of father's love that actually made you start getting out there, innit? Right?
Right.
So, did you realize that was a mistake, innit?
You said, did I realize what?
When you went out there to seek the love of your father out there from other men, yeah? What advice would you give to women that's like in that situation? Because there's a lot of women that didn't get the attention what you're talking about. So what advice would you give them?
So my advice would be to appreciate rejection. Don't allow rejection to cause you to operate in rebellious. Don't allow rejection to cause rebellion, because sometimes when we're rejected after rejected, sometimes we start acting rebellious because rejection. Don't nobody want to be told no, and don't nobody want to be abandoned. So my advice would be find a different way to cope with your rejection. Get a counselor, get a mentor, talk to someone. Because my problem was my family was well known, and my problem was I didn't want to feel like, oh, I'm bashing my daddy, and I didn't want to make it seem like I'm like basically being disobedient and talking and like dragging them through the mud. And so I just stayed quiet because I didn't want to feel like, and then plus I didn't want to hurt his feelings by telling people what I was really feeling. And then so because he was very judgmental. So I was like, well, let me just be quiet, don't really say nothing. I didn't really talk about that as well. My household, what went on in the household until later on. I just acted out all the time. And I just told my parents recently, last year, when I went through my whole healing process, the whole year of last year, I just told them the reason why I acted out, the reason why I did this, the reason why I did that. And we had a long sit down, a long talk. I was like, when I had a graduation, that wasn't good enough. When I graduated from modeling school, y'all didn't show up. Y'all feel like that wasn't good enough. But every time my brother had something, all the family supported. You gave money, you did this, you did that. Anytime I did something, it was like nothing was good enough on my end. So we had a long talk, like even from grades in high school and middle school, like my grades never was good enough. I had to lie on my grades and cheat just to feel accepted. And so my brother always bring home on the roads, and he always getting celebrated, and we always going out to eat for him. They always buying stuff for him. And so I'm just feeling like, okay, well, since I'm so much of the bad child and I'm so much the dumb child, let me just go act dumb. Let me just go do bad stuff or whatever. So,
right, but ain't they gonna find out now by your book? Ain't they gonna find out what's happened now?
Oh no, they know. They know. We had a long talk last year when I went through. Last year, I had those conversations that I didn't want to have. I had those conversations with everybody I need to have with people with the conversation. You know, like the conversation that we avoid. That you know you need to have those conversations, but we avoid those conversations. So I did that throughout last year. I got counseling. I did therapists. I had therapy. I did everything. Got a mentor. Everything I could to help me be free and help me be whole and healed. Because I said before 2020, I don't want to be one of those people that be a hypocrite that say one thing but you're really something else behind closed doors. I don't want to be that person because I know God is with me in other platforms, but I don't want to be that person that trying to tell you one thing but I'm struggling with it myself. I don't want to come half out. I want to be all the way out. So therefore, I want to have those conversations and confront every demon in my life that tried to hinder me or that tried to stop me.
Wow.
So every demon that I wrestle with, because some demons is not from you. Some demons is generation, from a generational curse.
All right. Can you explain that to some people, like? Because explain about the demons, because I'm gonna go back into that as well. What do you mean, demons? What demons are you talking about?
So, like perversion or just anything, poverty, whatever. Some stuff, whatever we don't deal with, it get passed down to our kids. Mm-hmm. That's why we see sometimes our kids start doing similar stuff. Like, oh God, like. If whatever we don't handle and take control over, our kids end up finding that same thing. So if we have a strong perverted spirit that let's say nympho, that you always got to have sex, whatever, and battle with perversion. If you don't take control over that, then your child will have that same issue. Whatever, it's like whatever it is that you struggle with, whatever we struggle with, we don't take control over it, is a possibility our child can end up struggling with that same struggle because we didn't take control over it. So I knew that generational curse.
Yeah, I was just about to say generational curse. I was just about to say. So Karen is getting interesting.
So.
Wow.
So yeah,
right. So it was hard to. So you had to tell your family. So didn't you think that they might not? Was your family in the church? Like, were they church people?
Yeah.
Oh, because it was easier then for them to understand. But there's some people out there that don't have family with a church background, so there's no way they'll be able to do that. You know what I mean? So they're not. Right. So you were blessed from the beginning to have parents like that you can actually go to them with such a topic. You know what I mean? But this so basically in a nutshell, you got date rape then, innit?
You said what?
Basically, you do what we call over here. We call it date raping, when somebody gives you drugs and you get knocked out and you don't remember anything. It's called a date. It's called a date rape. So where are you now? So that led to the book.
Yeah, I say the main thing that led to the book was I just want to do something to encourage other women. Because so this my thing. This was the main thing. So when I got into church or when I got into God or whatever people call it, I thought you had to live a certain way, you had to act a certain way. So when I first was trying to go through this transition, I was like, I tried to look like church people. I tried to act like what I thought church people act like, and it wasn't working for me. And so I tried black hair. I tried to fit in. I put it like that. I tried to fit in with everybody else to feel accepted. And the church always rejected me, rejected my anointing. But God started dealing with me. He's like, no, I called you to be you. If you want to wear your bright color hair, you wear your bright color hair. If you want to do this, you be you, because you're not doing anything. You just being your creative personality type of way. Everybody can't understand that. Everybody not going to respect that. So when I started being me, and the authentic self, I started feeling God more, hearing God more clearly because I was being myself and I wasn't trying to be like how I was raised, because I was raised something totally different. Like the religions I was raised in, I'm like something like, even though we have the same beliefs, but we sometimes just have to agree to disagree. And everybody do what works for them. And that's why I respect people, because you only can do what works for you. The religion I was raised in, that didn't work for me. But when I transitioned to something else, I had to go with what works for me. So a lot of times we have to just agree to disagree, and I'm not going to disrespect what you believe in, and I don't want nobody to disrespect what I believe in. So sometimes we'll bump heads when it gets to that, but yeah, I just had to. But my main thing behind the book was just trying to show someone that it don't matter how messed up your past is, God still could use you, how jacked up you are or how messed up you were, because a lot of people didn't think I was going to make it. A lot of people didn't think I was going to still be living. I probably should have been somewhere with some AIDS or something, but God literally spared my life and covered me and gave me grace to even be able to tell my story.
Wow. Unity, you got any questions? Because I got some, but I'm going to let you come in as well. I can't hear you. You just slip reading.
You're on mute.
Yeah, I can't hear you, girl.
Right, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
I can hear you.
You go along. You go along, man. I've heard Sharenika.
Okay, you're giving me the work then. All right then.
I'm
Now.
giving you the platform with her today. Yes, I am.
Okay then. Well, you can. No, thank you. Thank you for you're being so kind. Yeah, all that wonderful hard work you're doing. Big up, big up. Right then, we could get down to the thing. The film. Have you seen the film?
You said, have I seen the film?
The movie, the video that they done. Have you seen it?
Which one?
I mean, which one? How many is there?
You talking about the sex video?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I saw it that same night. I saw I didn't see the full thing. I just saw bits and pieces of it.
So how did you? They gave it to you then?
No, they didn't. No, they didn't send me the video. They showed me on their phone when I was at their house and showed me basically proof of, because I was in denial that nothing happened. I was in denial that I didn't do that because I was transitioning to stop living that lifestyle, to stop prostituting, to stop doing stripping and stuff. So and for one, I never had did drugs a day in my life. And so
and also Sharenika, you did say to those guys, look, I'm going to go to the police. You said to them, I'm going to take this matter forward, and that's why they showed you the video, didn't they?
No. See, so this is what happened. No, they showed me the video when I was basically saying that I don't believe I did that, or I wouldn't have did something like that. They were showing me the video as for proof, like, no, you went in last night, and showing me right then on video like how I went in. And so when I saw the video, I literally felt disgusted. My stomach, I felt like I wanted to throw up. I felt horrible. And that's when I was putting my clothes on. I'm like, I gotta go. And that's when I literally started breaking down, crying on the spot, literally crying like, oh my God, this is about to be terrible. This probably finna go everywhere. And I all kind of different stuff were racing through my head. I just hope nobody see this. And so I had done left in the car, putting the GPS in my phone. I had a boohoo cry. After I cried and got myself together, I sent an email to him, threatening him if that video was to get out, I'm going to the police and I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, or whatever, and the third, whatever. And that's when later on, not right then, but I say about 2 hours later or whatever, when I got closer back to home, because it's a 2-hour drive, I received a private phone call. I didn't know who was calling me private. I received a private phone call saying, hey, I got your email. You're taking the advance. If you was to go to police about it, this video would be all over social media. It basically blackmail me that I can't say nothing about it.
Disgusting, yeah.
Right. So
you were quite young then, weren't you, Sharenika? You were quite young then.
Yes, I was around 18 or 19.
Ooh.
18, 19. So he was just making out, being young, and trying to search for fame and chase after fame and fortune. It's top model, the top celebrity actress and stuff. So I was just doing all kind of crazy stuff.
Such a young age, young age, unexperienced, tender. you know, at that age, you don't really think.
You know,
Yeah.
because I literally got scammed out of, I say probably about $10,000. Like anybody that was able to sell me a dream, I was buying. People, oh, I can do this for you. I can do that for you. I can put you in this video. I can put you in this person video. Anybody that was like saying if it sounded good, I was buying it. I mean, like buying it left and right. And so
Yeah.
it was
wanted to do something. Yeah.
right.
So
that's how
didn't you know that? Go on. Can I say that again? What you say?
Yeah, you can say it.
Didn't you? Go on. Did you not know that? See, like if somebody goes through something that what you went through, don't your body feel like something happened? Didn't you know?
You said did my body work?
Yeah, didn't your body feel like after everything happened? Didn't you know? Didn't you know? Didn't you have no idea? Like if a woman is had sex with a man, whether she's sleeping or not, she would know. She must know when she wakes up. How come you didn't know? That's the bit that I want to know.
No, I literally blanked out. I really didn't remember nothing I had. I was so blanked out. I didn't even realize I even had on. I really don't even remember how I even had on lingerie. I don't even remember changing my clothes to put lingerie on. But when I woke up in lingerie. Like I was so out of it. I didn't remember. When I say nothing, only thing I had remembered from the previous, the day before asking for something to drink. It already was late at night. Only thing I remember being real thirsty, asking for something to drink, and then I just remember getting real sleepy.
That was it.
That's all I remember. I just remember being out of it. And I just remember being real hot. But
okay.
After that, I literally don't remember nothing at all.
Wow.
All I did is it was all kind of drugs in a drink. I don't know. What all drugs, I don't know. I just know it was Molly. I just know cocaine, whatever else in there. I do not know what else was in there. Whatever was in there, I was out of it. Mind you, I don't do drugs. So everybody's body responds to drugs different. Like, never in my life, I didn't even smoke weed. I didn't smoke cigarettes. Well, cigarettes not drugs or whatever. But I'm just saying, I wasn't a smoker. I wasn't a user. Only thing I did do was drink alcohol. Every now and then, I did drink alcohol. And I get drunk occasionally every day. But as for drugs, I never had these drugs a day in my life. So maybe that's how everybody responded to it. I'm not sure. I don't even know what drugs are supposed to be. How they're supposed to make you feel.
Yeah.
Only thing I knew is my body was complete.
Okay, so how has it mentally affected you, that what you went through? How has it affected you now, today?
Now I'm grateful for my past because it made me who I am today. Back then, I was ashamed and I was insecure. Because it was like the relationships with the making it the relationships I had, it didn't make it better because I was too. When you're insecure and broken people attract broken people. So
It sounds funny.
it was like same cycle that was going over and over and over. And I just from that, I appreciate my past because that was the turning point for me. That situation that happened, I literally have been like saved and lived since that night. So that's why I'm grateful for that night, because if that night would never happen, ain't no telling what I would have did after that.
I missed most of that.
Oh, it's not easy, you know, considering she's 18. You got to keep that age. You know, kids 16, 17, 18, they're very rebellious anyway. And
Right.
Yeah. And then on top of that, she's got grown-up men doing this as well.
Right.
Not easy. Not easy, Bless. Is there anything else you want to ask her, Bless?
Yeah. What was it? Mentally.
And then mine, that's just like a 3-minute or 5-minute, I can't remember how many minutes it was, video. It's no telling what all happened that whole night that wasn't on the camera.
Yeah.
So it's no telling if I was an overdose or I did an overdose. They put me in cold. I don't know what all happened. Only thing I could see for what was on the camera. So it's no telling what all happened that whole night.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't
So
even know what I even.
so that means they still got the video then.
They probably would. They probably would. Probably wouldn't because a phone. I don't know that many people have the same phone for like 8, 9 years. So I'm not sure they would or wouldn't have the video or whatever. And I wouldn't even know how
Yeah,
to
but
even.
you didn't say anything. You kept it quiet as well. You're not going to
Yeah,
name them. I don't want you to
right,
name them either, to be honest with you, because I
Yeah.
don't think you've let it go now. You've finished it now. It's over and
right.
done with. You're going forward, and you're actually progress. And your main focus is to help as many girls as you can, and that's what it's all about, really.
But but my transition have changed so much to the point that a lot of people don't even recognize me now. I have met
Really.
some people from my past that I have slept with that's in the industry. They was like, "You look real familiar, but I just can't. I don't know what you call it. Like they'll say you look totally different."
Is it? What is it? Seeing a confident woman? What is it that they're saying? Is it your appearance has changed? What is it that's saying that to you?
I guess because I don't know, maybe because I guess how I carry myself, or maybe how I carry myself. I wouldn't technically say the appearance, but sometimes it might could have been appearance as well. But
But
I
I think
just
you're stronger now. You're much
but
stronger.
yeah,
I think.
right, because a lot of people would say they was like it's something different about you. You're not
Yeah.
the same person.
You're not
But
timid no more. You're saying it as it is.
right, so yeah, I'm not intimidated by my past anymore. So like anybody like try to, but some people try to keep you in your past because they scared of your
Yeah.
future. So
Because they're
I'm not
insecure
intimidated about it.
themselves, Shanika.
Right.
That's all it is.
So right.
Anything else, Bless?
Yeah. Right. The book. The book. What's the name of the book?
Hustle through the pain.
And this book is about this situation.
Yeah, so my book is basically saying about how I had all the wrong hustles because like I said, I did drug trafficking as well. Like literally carried the drugs, threw it on the property and all. So it's basically saying how I had all the wrong hustles and how God changed my life, and now how I'm super creative and had all these good hustles that's legal. How I had all the illegal hustles and doing all this and the third because I was operating in rejection and pain. But now I have all these good hustles and positive stuff, and now it's like an ongoing creativity and unstoppable. Can't nobody stop me.
Right. So that
I
means
can't.
so it's your faith. So when you're a
That's the
religious
second book.
person now. You was a religious person before, but now you're more religious now.
Right.
Right. So that means
That's the second book called Prayer Journal.
prayer journal. I
Yeah.
like the name of that book there. Tell us about the
Yeah.
second book. Yeah, prayer journals.
So the second journal, the book is the Hustle Prayer Journal. So it basically a prayer journal because I get a lot of people asking me questions on how you did this, how you did that, what made you do this, what made you do that. So I've just put it's like a resource to help you in your faith. It got prayers in there, it got scriptures, it got basically wisdom on different quotes and just to help your mindset shift. Because like I told her, for a long time I was praying the wrong prayer for a long time, and I thought it was good because I was like, oh, I'm sanctified, I'm this and that, I pray all the time and all this and that, and God wasn't answering none of my prayers. And so I had to check myself. I'm like, why nothing is happening for me? So I shifted my whole prayer life, and when I shifted my whole prayer life, literally, now I got receipts. People can testify on my behalf. Anytime I say something, when I have the faith for it, it happened within a week or 2 weeks. It don't take a long time for it to happen. Like sometimes somebody pray for something, it's been 5 years, 10 years. I'm still trusting God. It ain't gonna happen. 5 years don't went, but I'm still trusting God. If I'm like, but I'm trying to say it the right way. You wisdom, but I'm just the type of person. Because where we are now, our faith got us there.
Mm.
Where we are right now, that's where our faith got us. You only can go as far as your revelation. So if I have the type of faith that I will own a whole network, I can do it. But that's just like somebody giving a blind man $1 million. Why would you give a blind man $1 million if he can't see it? You have to actually see it in the now. I mean, you have to see it first before you actually see it in the natural. So I have to have faith and believe that I already got it. So before the house even came, I had to say I was a homeowner before the home even came. That's why they say you have to be a wife first before you can actually be a wife. So you have to actually see it before it can actually come. So I have to have that type of faith, that bold faith, that what I desire, that I have already, and then it manifests.
And all of this is in your second book.
Yes.
Okay, can we see the book?
You know when Sharenika said something.
Yeah, we need to do. Yeah, I wanted to see the book, man. I want the book. Can I have a copy of your book? Yeah, I'll have a copy of the book.
I was, you know, it has to be delivered all the way from America to here. I was looking onto it, and I think it takes a few days, a week or so, more than a week or so. But having said that, what she said, bless Sharenika, was you're praying, but you've got doubt in your prayer. And when she removed the doubt and you pray to God properly, there's the book.
Okay. This is the prayer journal. This is the prayer journal. And this is the actual Hustle Through the Pain book.
Okay.
Showing like when I looked in the mirror, like the mirror showing that when I looked in it, the mirror really was broken, and looking at my past lifestyle. So yeah, it's I've been getting a lot of great feedback about how the book elevated their mindset, how it shifted their perspective and made them I've been getting a lot of great feedback. But the crazy part about it, I've been wrote this book, but I was so ashamed to put the book out because I wasn't free from my past. And so for a long time I was like, no, I fought with the book that I'm not gonna put it out. What you embarrassed about probably be the thing that make you the most money. This was something that I was embarrassed about, but this has also been the thing that made me the most money. My story.
Oh, yeah. Also, you said to me, people used to call me dumb. So you were not confident of thinking, how can I write a book? If I do write a book, would people accept it or not?
Right. Exactly.
So she had that negative part as well, and that was being feeded.
Right. So also, growing up, I was growing up around friends that I was growing up around friends that were smart. And so they always got stuff on the first try. They always passed the graduation test, everything. But when it came to me, it was like I was a slow friend. When it's time to read out loud in class, I always pronounce the word wrong. And so the whole class laughed at me. So then I got to the point that I didn't want to read out loud anymore. So my whole life, I struggled with reading and writing. Even to the point when I went to college, my friends got accepted to the big schools. I get accepted to the small schools, and they'll pick about that as well. And so when when I first went to college, you have to take the placement test, and they basically place you. When I took the placement test, I basically failed it. So I had to take intermediate reading and intermediate writing classes or whatever. And so I take the class, and basically I passed the class, but every time it comes to that complex test, I always fail the complex test. And so you only get 5 times to take the test. And so I always, when it comes to the class, I pass the class or whatever because I study and do the book work or whatever. But when it comes to that test, I always fail the test because reading, I lacked in reading comprehension. And so it was hard for me to comprehend what I was reading. And so that what kept me behind. And so it got to the point where I took the class 5 times. After you take the class 5 times, you basically get kicked out of school and you can't come back to 5 years later. So now I'm really feeling dumb, and I lied about why I came home from college. Everybody was trying to figure out, why you home? And so I was like, oh yeah, I'm home because I want to spend more time with my daughter. I want to be there with my daughter when she get older and be more close to the family. I used that lie because I was so ashamed that I literally got kicked out of school because of my reading, because I couldn't pass the compass test. So 5 years go by when I started getting closer into my religion and all this, that, whatever, and spirit. And so I went to go after again my IQ. My literally God increased my IQ level. I went back again and took the test and passed with flying colors. It was on the dean list of the school I ended up going to, and ended up getting back accepted to the school that I got kicked out of, and literally was like just flourishing in school, and then graduated with with a business degree.
Wow.
See, that's what it's about.
You see that?
Exactly. Wow.
So after,
now,
I was gonna ask you. No, carry on. Go on, carry on.
Yeah, I can listen to you all day. Yeah.
It's like a story. I like the story.
Yeah.
So now when I tell people, the crazy part about it, now when I tell people about how I used to couldn't read at all, like I couldn't hardly read or write, they don't believe me. They do not. They think I'm telling a lie. They literally think I tell them a lie. It takes for people that knew my past have to babies.
Yeah.
I still jack up some words right now. But it don't affect me. I'll be like, oh, whatever it is. Like if I mess up the word, I'll be like, whatever it is, whatever. Now I can laugh at it. But then I used to be so terrified and wanting to be so perfect and pronouncing things. Now I just accept that who I am and love me for myself.
Okay, right. I'm gonna go back to the reading thing. I agree with you. I believe what you're saying about the reading thing, because I went through a similar experience with the reading thing. Right, I'm going to give people a little story about me. I left school when I was 7 years old. That's when I first.
Oh, wow.
That's when I first stopped. That's when I started what you call truanting or bunking off, leaving school. I was 7 years old. I didn't go back till I was 12, and then I left again. Right, so by the time I was like 15, I couldn't read anything. But I was still going and leaving the house like I'm going to school, but I wasn't going to school. But what happened, to cut the long story short, I was going through a little spiritual thing, and I had this Bible, what I got from my mum, big Bible she gave me. And I asked God to teach me how to read. And it's that book, me reading that book, I learned how to read by using the Bible. Obviously I knew little words, but to read fluently, I used the Bible, and it's the Bible that kind of taught me how to read, so I can understand what you're saying. Now, this leads to my next question, my dear. After all what you're saying, and all the ladies that are listening, they're going to say, well, they've tried this, they've tried that, they've prayed to God, and they're still going through things what are not good. My question to you is, where is God?
You said where is what?
Where is God?
So, great question. Everybody have their different opinions on God. Everybody have different opinions on different things. My advice would be, what is God to you? First off, look at the worst of the worst that you ever been through, that you know could nobody else brought you out of it. And then think about, who do you think brought you out of it? Some people say Mother Nature. Some people say the universe. Some people say different things, and which I respect everybody's beliefs, because everybody got their opinions on why they feel like what they feel like. But me, what is God to me? Because I can't say what God is to someone else. But what God is to me, He's my healer. He's my provider. He's my way maker. See, and I can give back up. Could nobody but God have a random person that don't know me from a can of paint? Let me go way back. When I first came to Atlanta. I came to Atlanta because I had got a job that was paying $20 an hour. So I had left the last job I had. Now I was working for Atlanta Braves Stadium doing the marketing advisor. So I'm feeling myself, thinking I don't got a good job because I'm young. And so I was like, thinking everything was all good. Just left this plant job, and I said I was done with going to plants, whatever. Long story short, I had a car accident, totaled my car. So therefore, I didn't have no transportation to work. This was like within the first 3 weeks or whatever. After I just got me an apartment, literally just started working. So then I ended up getting fired from my job. I didn't work for 3 months straight. Literally. I applied for government assistance. I would not get approved. God was denying everything on purpose so I can fully depend on him. That's when my relationship with God really started to develop, because I couldn't depend on nobody. I couldn't call nobody, ask them for no money. I couldn't, literally, with food stamps. I was applying for food stamps. They kept denying me. And I know for a fact, and they knew for a fact that I would get it. But for what reason, they would not even receive my application. And I had to show them proof that I submitted the application. So they had to even send my stuff to corporate and eventually they gave me back pay on down the line when 3 months later, after everything, but God started speaking to me. He was like, that was me showing you that you don't have to depend on nobody. God literally always used strangers. Because if he used the familiar to you, you wouldn't know it's God. If he used the familiar. God always used strangers for me. So when he used strangers, and a stranger come to me, and they're like, I don't know what it is. God told me to give you half of my commission check, even with my house. My house, I only had $10 in my bank account. I was staying in a homeless shelter. I went from a homeless shelter to owning a 3-bedroom house. I got a decent side front yard and decent side backyard. Now I worked on my credit score, and I didn't got my credit score decent, so my mortgage could be cheaper. But the fact of that I only had $10 in my bank account. And so I'm like, I'm not finna waste nobody's time starting no process for no house, knowing I don't have the money for the down payment. Because I already knew I wasn't gonna get down payment assistance. Everybody was like, oh, you get down payment assistance? No, because I've been through this process before. I already knew I wasn't gonna get down payment assistance because of my student loan. My debt income ratio was too high. So I already knew I wasn't going to get any assistance for the down payment. So I felt like, why waste anybody's time on starting the process of a house, knowing that I already knew what you had to have in your bank account. I already knew you had to be on your job for 2 years. I already knew the qualifications on buying a house. So I didn't want to waste nobody's time. I kid you not, I was not on my job for 2 years. I did not have no $8,000 in my bank account. God used strangers. The realtor, I know him less than 30 days, and said God told him to give me half his commission check. This man don't even know me from a can of paint. The homeless shelter said they never gave to a house before. They always give to an apartment because it's easy to go to the lease office and just give them the money. They said the most they ever gave was $800. Never gave to a house. The most they gave $800, but they gave $2,000 to my down payment. My attorney, she said God dealt with her in her sleep. She said, I don't know what type of relationship you have with God. She said, but you keep on going forth in it. Because God told me not to charge you no more than $500. So at the closing table, they had a check for me at closing. So out of $8,000, and then not only that, the last owner of the house, while he was friends with the realtor, the realtor convinced him to pay all the closing costs. So literally out of $8,000, I only had to pay $500. So I had more than enough than what I thought I was going to have to pay.
Wow. Interesting.
In situations like that, God has to be the Lord for my life, not nobody else. For my life, because I know nobody did that but God. And that's why I can respect people, and a lot of atheists can respect me, because I've been there before. I didn't believe in the Bible one point in time. Because I was like, well, I feel like the Bible contradicts this thing. It's been a time that I didn't believe in God. It's been a time that I didn't believe in the Bible. So when somebody comes, he have several people come to me, they're like, I don't believe in the prophetic. I don't believe in God. I don't believe in the whole Bible. And I have respect for them being honest, because they got some people that do believe in it. They say they believe in it, and they say that I'm for God and this and that, but your lifestyle will show you believe in it. You say you believe in God, it's God, but you always have doubt. So therefore, you're not really practicing what you're preaching. I have more respect for a person that say, I really don't even believe in God. I got respect for that person because they're honest. Then God can work with you. Then God had to show me. He had to show me, because I didn't believe in the Bible. I didn't believe in the Bible. Because I was like, what the Bible said? I was like, I can't believe these stories. But then God started giving me revelation of different stuff and showing me stuff, and I started hearing voices. And I'm like, this is weird. And I was like, the more closer I got to him, the more accurate I started being when he like the deeper I went in, I started being every weakness I had, it started turning to my strength. Now I love to read. I'm always reading. I'm always writing. So everything that was a weakness of mine now is my strength. But all of that came from I shift my perspective and I started going into God deeper and started learning God. So I was just like, let me just try this whole God thing out. Because mind you, before that sex trafficking incident happened, I was done by God. I said, when I get old enough, I didn't want to go to church. I just didn't have no choice because my parents thought that was on the executive board. And so mind you, I'm getting judged by the church. So I'm like, I don't want to go to church. And so y'all like loving me for who I am because I'm going through this transition. I don't know who I am. I'm going through this false identity. So, but y'all not loving me for who I am. Y'all crucified me, sending me to hell. So I said, I'm the whole faking. Y'all preaching and y'all hallelujah shouting and stuff on Sundays, but the next day y'all gossiping on the phone. The next day y'all sit here doing any and everything. So I didn't have respect for them. So I said, when I got old enough, I wasn't going to church. So God had to show me him for himself. I couldn't see God through the man. I told God I got to see him for himself because I don't want to go by what he say, she say. I wanted God to show me who he were. So you have to have a personal encounter like God. You can be real with God because I talk to God like he my homeboy. But you can be real like God. It's hard for me to trust you. It's hard for me to believe in you. It's hard for me to show me that you're real. Give me a personal encounter that I know there was nobody but God. Them personal encounters like you know that, or you had this, or you had that, and they said that you can't get rid of it, and then all of a sudden you ain't got no more. You had the personal encounter that you had cancer, and then all of a sudden you ain't got cancer no more after you said that prayer. The personal encounter that you know you ain't got no money in your house. I mean, no money in your bank account, but God give you this house. This personal encounter that you don't have no car, but somebody tell you God told me to bless you, give you my car with no payments. When you have those type, but see, a lot of people don't really have faith because they haven't had those personal encounters. So I don't blame them. Because sometimes people do need to see it to believe it. So but we just have to open up our spirit to like God, whatever. That's what I had to do because I was doing it a whole nother way. And after that sex trafficking happened, I was like, you know what? What's the harm to try to go after this whole God thing? I don't know what I'm doing. But let me just try it for something different. Because apparently what I'm doing is not working. So let me try something else different to see how this goes. Ever since then, it blessed my life because I wasn't no team God. And to be honest, but God told me. Now after this transition, you're gonna be tempted. I mean, the devil gonna come stronger. I didn't become a threat till I got into the kingdom. The devil wasn't stunned by me. If I wanted to go get a club, it'd be easy for me to go get a club. But if it's something positive that I'm trying to do, that's why all hell break loose and come after me. Because that's what shows you that you on the right track. When all hell break loose, I ain't had no problems back then. When I was in the world doing everything, I ain't had no problem. I'm saying I ain't had no problems. But when I got into going after God, I'm like, I can't catch a break.
Yeah, but that's gonna let people. So, for example, now if a young girl is hearing your story, yeah, and she's going through something, and then she turns to God, and then when she starts to turn to God, things start getting worse in a way. Like it's harder. Like the fight is harder. What kept you going?
So, going to church helped a whole lot because I didn't understand this whole new life that I was trying to pursue.
Okay,
that helped me a lot, and also your connections make a difference. Like they're saying, people say you are who you hang around. A lot of people don't believe in that, but your connections make a major difference. So I just started connecting with more positive people, and just that just helped me a whole lot. Who you see yourself, or how to put it, where you see yourself, you want to be, connect with somebody already there. You desire to be a doctor in life, find a doctor that you connect with. Social media is very big right now. Search somebody, follow their story. You on mute, Unity.
You're on mute. You're on mute. Yeah, it's all right. It's just press the button.
Patience is also the key.
Yes.
Because that's when all the fight starts, when the devil starts fighting with you then. Because he can't handle you going the good faith.
Right.
Wow.
And God was building my character behind the scenes. So he put me in the hiding season to build my character. And a lot of people mess up where they think, okay, now I'm trying to get in this whole God thing. That means I got to change everything. No. Because God will use that same thing about you and he'll just sanctify it. I still go with the fight. I used to fight every week. I was fighting in the streets every single week. I was fighting, but God just took that fight and sanctified, and now I fight in warfare on other people's health, fighting demons for people. So He will use that same thing and just sanctify whatever areas need to be sanctified. Some people feel like, and some people don't come to church or don't come to God or don't come to God because they feel like, oh, I just have to change everything about myself. No, he'll use you just as you are. He'll just sanctify whatever he needs to sanctify. But a lot of people look at the outer and neglect the inner.
Yeah.
God's concerned about your soul. He's concerned about your heart. Some people out here struggling in sin, but their heart is so pure. God loves that. But you got some people hooping and hollering, lifting up their hands, shouting, but their heart is so wicked. And that's where the confusion come in. The confusion coming in because the church is so busy trying to look like the world instead of being the influence and allow the world to look like the church. But the church don't have no identity. That it's too busy trying to copy the world. That's where the confusion coming in. And a lot of confusion coming in because when they do go to church for comfort, you getting judged. You're going to look at as a slut. You coming in there with your little hoochie mama skirt on. They coming in there with your sheet finna try to wrap you around with the sheet and stuff. So a lot of people are confused. They just want to be accepted for who they are. Yeah. My thing was because I had to, literally God had led me to the church I went to. For somebody that's not led by God, my thing was to just try out different places. And right now we got virtual going on, but a lot of virtual stuff going on. But my thing is just try to connect with people because trust also plays a major part. Yeah. It's hard for you to change somewhere that you don't trust those people. Mm-hmm. So go somewhere that you feel like you can trust them and that you can feel like you can transition and change and grow there. So just even if you got to go to different places to see what works for you.
And this is where you actually started to run a non-profit organization called Bold. Mm-hmm. That's where it fits in, doesn't it, Sharenika?
Yes.
So let's speak about that and the age group that you actually help.
So the age group I deal with is from 13 to 16. It was from 13 to 17, but I just erased 17 off the list because I don't have a bad experience that they thought they was grown. They told me they grown, so I mean it is what it is. But from the age 13 to 16, so from what happened to me, I wanted to from the lifestyle of the rejection. And what made me start doing stuff from the rejection. So basically, when I went through that rejection and the rebellions, and I heard nothing but bad stuff about me. So sometimes if you hear bad stuff about you, you'll start acting out those negative seeds that you're hearing. And we'll start watering the negative seeds. And so the Bold nonprofit organization, which is called Beautifully Outspoken Leading Dogs. And I say outspoken and bold because most of the time, the out of control teenager, they're real bold and they're outspoken. They just want to be heard. Most of the time, their voice is robbed from them. Most of the time, when your voice is robbed, most of the time it comes from your parents. Rob your voice at a little age, while you're young. So it's basically to give them their voice back and find out what their purpose is, and also to activate those positive seeds, the good seeds. Because if you always hearing that you're bad, you're a hoe, you this, you're that, you this, that, those are watering the negative seeds, and sometimes you start acting out the seeds. So I'm here to water those positive seeds. Like, no, you're a millionaire. You're more than a conqueror. You're going to be the first, the generational curse breaker of your family. You're this, you're that. Because apparently, if your child's struggling with it, the curse have not been broken. So I'm here to just try to activate the positive side and just also celebrate them. Because when you're bad, when I was younger, I never remember being celebrated. I never remember being like celebrated. for anything. And so sometimes people just want to say, I just want to hear, I'm proud of you.
Yeah.
Well, you did a good job. Sometimes it just, like one girl, only thing I did was told her I was so proud of her and gave her a hug. She didn't have to do nothing for me to be proud of her. It's just those words that say, I'm proud of you. And when everything she was doing was wrong. But I was speaking to her spirit and not her flesh and saying, I'm proud of you. You was a good child. You was a great child. She just broke down crying just for that. Some people just want to hear the words, I'm proud of you. You're doing a good job. Keep going. And like sometimes people can't always look at your negative, but I don't look at the negative. We deal with the negative later. I want to focus on all the positive because what kills demons is love.
Yeah. So when you're working with these young girls, are you working with parents as well?
Yeah, I work with parents, and sometimes the parents do get jealous. They try to figure out, well, how they listen to you. They respected you, but they don't respect me. What makes you so much different? And they don't even know you. And so I just be like, Lord. And so sometimes I have those parents that want to be nosy, want to know what their child has told me. But I don't tell them anything. So sometimes they feel some type of way, like, oh, you trying to. And I have those parents that felt like I'm trying to, trying to make up excuse for their actions. But they don't know it's a prophetic, strategic plan that I was doing, which they didn't understand in the beginning, but in the end, it worked. It worked for her and it worked for the daughter. And now she was doing a whole lot better. So they didn't understand my planning and strategic planning in the beginning, but in the end they did. So but I do also work with parents, and I sometimes tell the parents, okay, you need to do that, you need to stop saying this, you need to stop saying that, be more alternative to this, stop putting so much on her, because if you put that right in the childhood, they're going to go wild when they get older. When they didn't do it in the childhood, they get close in the house, we close them in the house, they can't do nothing, don't have no freedom. Once they get older, they get released to the streets.
Yeah. So are you working, if they're not in your area and they're in another state, do you, like, obviously now you can with social media, do you do group chats, do you do Skype, Zoom, do you actually still connect with girls far away from you?
So yes, and so what I would do is I'm learning the whole Zoom thing. I do like the whole like video calls on Facebook. You got an app now, Google Duo. I use that as well. But the ones that like everything that I can't reach, I pretty much do like video chat and stuff like that. And I get
the reason why I asked that, Sharenika, is because obviously now you're streamed here now. And if girls from here want to talk to you and want to get in connect to you, they can actually go forward and do that.
Yes, they can.
Yeah, that's the reason why I asked that. But I mean, you're still a young girl. I mean, to me, you're still a young lady at the end of the day. And look at you. You know, you're out there making sure that you do so much for the other youngsters as well. What have you got to say? Anything to say, Brillis?
Me?
Let's be quiet today.
I'm quiet because you know why? Because I haven't got the book in front of me. If I had the book in front of me, then I will be. You know what? When I get the book, we're gonna interview you again. Yeah.
I tried to order the book before she, to get her before she actually came on, but I think it's taking about 10 to 15 days to come here, Sharenika, on your website. Yeah, so that's why I couldn't get it on time for today, so I'm gonna have to order again.
Don't worry. Right, I'm gonna go back a little bit. Yeah. Now you've got the book. Have your children seen the book, or what will happen if they see the book?
So when they see the book?
Yeah, the book. If your children seen the book, or have they seen the book?
See, my little daughter, she's number 2. My oldest daughter, 10, I'm very open with her because also, go back to demons, a lot of stuff you can't overcome what you're not willing to confront. If you're not willing to confront whatever it is, you can never overcome anything that you're not willing to face head on and confront. So therefore, I see little things that she started doing. She had started wearing a little bit of clothes. She started trying to be a follower. I'm like, no, you're a leader. You don't do that. But that was then. When I started confronting all these areas and started telling her my business and started seeing the problem, this was the main problem. We try to be so secretive and we don't want our kids to know what we did. No, we need to tell our kids what we did.
Yeah.
And so we can actually let them know and also help them so they won't make the same mistakes as us. But some parents don't want to say nothing. You know, back in the old days, they used to sweep everything under the rules. Like, what happened in this house stays in this house. But what happens if what happened in this house is hurting you? If you don't get help from it, you take that in your adulthood. So we have like raw cut talks, and I allow her to speak her mind. I allow her to vent how she want to vent. Because sometimes the child can vent, and we always tell them, "Shut up, shut up, be quiet, be quiet." You're robbing them from their voice when you're doing that. When you tell your child, "Be quiet," no, my way right, your way wrong, and not allowing them to express their emotions, then we begin to rob them from their voice. And then all of a sudden, your child will never open up to you. Then they start telling lies to you. Because when they can't trust you and they scared of you, then they start telling lies. So I just try to find that boundary. Like, all right, now you can't do what you want to do, but I also want you to be able to come to me about anything. But if you don't feel comfortable coming to me about anything, I want you to be able to go to someone about anything. But she know my past because she don't see some of it. She don't see it. Even with abuse, because with my oldest daughter, abuse happened with her father. When he because she was traumatized her own self for like 2 years straight. She was traumatized. Anytime somebody even reached and gave me a hug, she would fall out on the ground because she thought they was jumping on me. Like, he literally choked me out, like literally beat me, dragged me down the stairs, and she would be in my hand the whole time. So she experienced and seen some of the stuff in my past, but I'm very open with her, like she'll ask me questions like, why did you do that? Or what made you do this? Or what made you do that? Like, I'm very open with her. Now, I know how to use wisdom, like, okay, not say whatever, but as for the main point, I'm very open with her about, okay, mama did this, mama did that, this, that.
Okay, now, before we can, if anybody wants to call, we took the studio line. We're using the studio line, so no one can't call in because we took the studio line. Right, we're using it for the WhatsApp. But there is another number, well, I don't know if you're going to be able to do it in time, which is 073. Right, go and get a pen. Go and get a pen. Right, I'll give you 1 minute to get a pen. Right, I'm going to give you another number. Right.
You told me to get that pen number?
Yeah, no, I've got to give them another number because we're already on this one. Right, 073 77 22 7 505. I'm going to give you once again. 073 77 227 505. Right. My question. What's your relationship like with men now after what happened to you?
I was about to ask that.
Yeah, lying.
I swear to God, I was going to say, but I was not going to say like you said. I was going to say, Sharenika,
That is
how
a
are
great.
you having a relation? Are you having a relationship?
Yeah. You always like to ask my questions. Go on. So go on. Go on.
When I was struggling with my hurt and pain, I desired a husband real bad. I want a husband. I thought I was like good, but I just knew I desired. But my whole life, I always desired a family because my family always been broken. So I desired a healthy family. I desired a husband for a long time, and so not knowing I wasn't ready for one. The crazy part about it, I didn't start getting, okay, when I stopped looking for a husband and didn't care about getting a husband no more, that's when the man showed up, the right. And the crazy part about it, this one was in my life for a long time. We was best friends, but I never was attracted to him. He wasn't even my type. But the crazy part about it, I was hurt, so I didn't even know what my type was. So I didn't know what my type was. I thought I had a type, but I was hurt and broken. So what I thought was my type, really, that wasn't a good type.
Yeah, you're attracted to the wrong person, yeah.
Right. So when I got fully healed and I started going after my dream, started going after like entrepreneurship, living me, doing me, I wasn't stunned by no man. Like, but and one too many men, even though I'm not an ugly female now, it was men that wanted me, but they didn't approach me. They didn't approach me because then they felt intimidated by me. So a lot of men, they'll come to me, they'll say, I always wanted to try to talk to you, but I was just so scared. Everybody started saying I was scared. But back then, when nobody was scared. But when I got healed and came into my identity, so many men was scared to even approach me, so scared to even inbox me or even flirt with me. Like they'll say little smaller stuff, whatever. But it got to the point that my best friend, he always wanted me, but I never like was attracted to him. And then all of a sudden, I was like, oh, you get a little cute or whatever. But I always, but I challenged him. But the thing about it, I challenged him to the point that it was like, it wasn't the fact of me. It wasn't about my looks or nothing like that. It was my spirit. He loved my spirit and how I always helping people and doing this and doing that or whatever. And so he fell in love with my personality and my spirit. And so by me and him being friends, mind you, we was friends when he was still selling drugs. He was still like being like talking to multiple women. I knew his relationship. I mean, I was giving him advice on his relationship, and he was the person I vented to about my relationships. Mm-hmm. So he always been there, the person that I vented to. Like, so I knew everything about him. He knew everything about me. And so the crazy part about it was when I started transitioning, getting close to God, he started transitioning, getting close to God. And so I like encourage him and push him or whatever, and then he just took it and just kept on. He was like, "Oh, you ain't finna leave me. You ain't finna leave me behind." So it was like we start feeding off each other. But what got me was my strength is his weakness. His weakness is my strength. So it's a good balance.
Okay.
Perfect balance.
Okay. Right. So I got a couple more questions. I like this, I like to talk to you again. Definitely, because you just
she's coming to London soon.
Yeah, that's good, because you give me encouragement as a man to know how much God has helped you, because what the time we're living in now, not much people are searching to God like before, because of the way the church has portrayed God and the religion and the lies and the confusion and the contradictions in the Bible and all of this stuff. A lot of people are just pushing it aside, but yet you still went down that path and found the light at the end of the tunnel. You know what I mean? So my question, this is a strange question, but I got to ask this. You love red hair, innit? You just love red hair. Why you love red hair?
I love red hair.
Yeah, why?
You know what? I do not know. I just know. Now, I just remember when I try to put black hair in my head, I be like, oh, okay. But it's like when I put the red hair in my head with my alter ego, I just be feeling myself with red hair. So I just start running with it.
It's not easy to carry that color. It's not easy to carry that. It looks really nice on you as well.
And then back then when I was younger, every time I had red hair, people just be like, it's something about you. It's something about you. That red hair had me standing out. Even like when I was at my job, they didn't know my name at the studio, but that was like the red hair girl. Everybody like the red hair. So it started becoming my brand.
Okay.
The red hair started becoming my brand, but it's just something about the red hair. Like when I put black hair in my head, I don't even feel like myself. But when I put the red hair, I just be like, just.
Wow.
So, remember, Sharenika, when we were coming on to the video call, and you were just dressed very casual, then all of a sudden he said, right, I'm back, and I went, whoa.
Yeah. So people who can't see her, she's got this red hair that it most probably glow in the dark. You know what I mean?
I just love it.
Also, but this the thing, because God dealt with me differently. So, but this the thing. It wasn't more. Now I be feeling myself when I had a red hair in my head, but God also used my red hair because a lot of people I'm able to reach in the streets because I outside looking in, you'll think I look like them. I wouldn't look like the typical church person.
Yeah.
So it's like a catch to reel them in, and all of a sudden they just start bending to me about their problems, and they're like, you know what? I want to know you had that much. Like, or then I start prophesying and like giving them a word and whatever, like what God tell them, and they were like, "How you know that? Is you a psychic?" I'm like, "No, I ain't no psychic. It's just the voice of God." But it just it makes them more comfortable because let's be honest, you'd rather somebody give you advice that been through what you've been through than somebody trying to tell you something about how to do this when they never even been through it their own self. They got a lot of these perfect pastors and perfect preachers that ain't been through no mess, or if they've been through it, they're not even talking about it. They're not being transparent about it. So they have more respect for a person that can tell you, yes, I was a hoe. Yes, I was a stripper. I was a prostitute. I was this. I was that. But God changed my life. Let me tell you how God changed me. Instead of this person act like I'm just so perfect.
Yeah.
I ain't never been nothing. I've been good. God been good to me my whole life. Now I'm gonna come to you and say, yes, I'll question. I question the Bible. I question God. I question my relationship with God. I question my purpose here on life. I question why certain things happen to me. So people can respect somebody realness because you can tell what's real and what's fake.
Yeah, like you said, what's inside is in the outside. You're not a hypocrite like most people are, unfortunately.
Okay.
So it's and then even with the young people, it made a lot of young people gravitate to it, I guess, as well, because they like, oh, she look cool, or
Yeah,
she look
we can
like
relate
us.
to her.
Yeah, she look like us.
Right. My question. Again, I got bare questions for you. I could talk to you all night, you know. All right. What's at the top of your game? I.e., yeah. What would you like to see at the end of the game? What would you like? What would you like? What would you like to happen that will satisfy you to make you say, yes, that's it? Because everybody have dreams and goals. Some people want big houses, big cars, and all of this stuff. But with the work what you're doing, it seems to me that you've put God first now. Yeah. So because you've put God first now, what is at the top of your game now? Where do you want to reach where you will be seeing, that's where I need to get to and I'll be comfortable? What do you want to achieve now that will make you be, that's it. That's what I'm aiming to achieve and that's where I want to reach. What's the top of your, where is it? What is it?
For myself, or what do I feel in general?
Both.
Or both. Okay. So my biggest passion and what I feel that will be like that's it for me.
Yep.
Is to see everybody I'm connected to come out of bondage, to see everybody I'm connected to come out of poverty. It does something to me to see somebody else win, because I already know and I already have the faith that I know God gonna put me on top. But it does something for me because to pull somebody else up. So when I see somebody else getting pulled up, that means my fruit is good. That means my fruit is showing. It ain't no good for me to be at the top and everything I'm connected to is at the bottom. No, so it does something to me that everything I touch get blessed. Everything I connected to mindset have to come up. Mindset have to shift. So it does something to me to see women get pulled out of bondage. They were stuck in bondage for a long time. They'll get pulled out of poverty. Because poverty start with your mindset. So getting free from poverty mindset and free from poverty in the natural. And then we all start owning and buying up the whole block. So that's the kicker for me. Like I would take off running down this whole street. It's like my friend called me Jay. I would take off like running. When I hear good news from my friends, giving me confirmation back from stuff I don't want them to do, or I put them on assignment, or I give them a strategy, do this, do that, and they tell me it works, that do something. That it do something for me.
Yeah.
I get more excited for other people when I hear good news for other people. I get excited for myself too. I get excited for myself as well, but by my faith level already there, and I already know it's gonna happen because I already visualize it. Now when it come, I still be mind blown. I dance, but to see people be stuck in bondage and come out of it, and be stuck in poverty and come out of it, or struggle with deliverance and come out of it, and never been healed and come out of it, that type of stuff, dude, I'll be done. See, just thinking about it, I'm about to start taking out running right now. Just thinking about it. Because I know it's going to happen. I have faith that everybody that I'm connected to is going to come out of whatever they eat.
Right.
I'm right with you, mate. I need it.
Okay. Right. All right. I tell you, I can just talk to you all night. When you want me to stop, I will stop. But I can keep asking you questions after questions after questions. You know, like if you're talking to the angels and the angel appears and you've only got that little chance to talk to that angel. It's like that's what I'm doing with you now, to say like the angel of God. So I'm talking to this angel. I'm talking about the divinity in you. Yeah. So I'm talking to the divinity in you because the divinity in you is what I'm feeling. So that's why I'm just asking you all the questions, and all the questions are like, so that because like when you go, I want me to ask you the questions again till I get the book, you know. But it's nice talking to you, and God bless the divinity in you because it is pure, you know, it's pure. And yeah, not question, no more questions because I can ask you questions all night. We're coming to the end of the show, yeah, right? But before we go, yeah. I ain't gonna ask you no more questions because I got your phone number already, so that's all right. Yeah, right. That's all right. But I won't be phoning you still. But the question, what I want to ask you is this, pertaining to what I've just said to you about the divinity in you, and that pearl that God has given you. Yeah, because I know that God has given you that. He's taken out that dark heart and it's given you a new heart. I know this. I can feel this. And your red hair represents the clean heart that's in you. Because a clean heart is red and pure. A dirty heart is black. Your red hair represents that red, clean, pure heart within you. That's my message to you, yeah? Right.
Thank you.
Right, now in saying that, can you say a prayer for all the ladies that's going through a situation and want to get out? So I'd like you to leave us with a prayer or something for the ladies that's going through the struggle, going through the abuse and they want to get out. You can close it with a prayer. With that divine light in you. Yeah.
What Bless said, I'm just going to add on to that. You know, it shines on your face, my darling. And Sharenika, you're actually blessed. And because of you, so many girls are going to get blessed by that. And I want to thank you for honestly, from the bottom of my heart, that I know who connected me, and I'm going to thank you for that as well. But I just want to thank the God over there, because after speaking to you, my prayer has changed.
Oh wow, my God!
Honestly, the word doubt that you used that day, and not being honest, and always having this little thing in the back of your head when you pray, it wasn't working.
Yeah.
Wow.
You have to be honest, clear-hearted to do the prayer, and be very strong with God.
Wow.
Thank you so much. May you always stay blessed. And like you said, you're an angel. You're an angel in disguise for us all. So before we leave, may you always stay blessed, and your daughters as well. May God always protect you. And we'll leave with a prayer. I want you to do a real nice prayer for all the girls, yeah.
Okay. Look, y'all put me on the spot. Okay, that's fine. You want me to go ahead and pray now?
Yeah.
Okay. So, get my little music in the background. Get me in the spirit.
That's what we want. That's what we want.
Can you hear that music, or you can't hear it?
Nah, we can hear you though.
Okay. Let's see. Let's show my camera. So everybody can bow their heads. Father, right now, in the name of Jesus, we come to you as we are, God. We ask for forgiveness, God, right now, to purify our mind, oh God, purify our heart. Anything that someone that's connected to this life, God, that whatever they're struggling with, we command that it comes to submission to you. We release it to you right now in the name of Jesus. We give you the burden. We give you all the struggles that we have. We give you everything, God, and we give it back to you. I decree and declare that our mindset is shifting in this hour. I decree and declare that our heart is shifting in this hour. Purify our heart right now, that we will be the lightness in the darkness right now in the name of Jesus. I decree and declare that everywhere that we step, favor will show up. Everywhere we step, blessings will show up. That we will walk and we will be a money magnet, that people will be a blessing to us, that people will chase us down. I decree and declare that millionaires will start looking for us, that our names are going forth right now in boardrooms,
meetings and executive tables that they are looking for us and searching for us. I decree and declare that we will build and we will own. I decree and declare that everything that your heart desires, that you will reap it, that you will reap the harvest of the land, that every tear that you have sown, that every money that you have sown, that you will reap the harvest, every advice, every loneliness, everything. We decree and declare that families are merging together. That hatred is leaving the heart right now. Bitterness is leaving the heart right now. To purify us right now in the name of Jesus, we decree and declare that if we're struggling, whatever faith that they're struggling in, that our faith level is coming up right now. That whatever question that we have towards God, whatever question that we have towards the Bible, whatever it is, we decree and declare that you reveal your hand, that you show your face, that you show that you are God, that you are the head and you're not the tail, that you have our back. Right now, in the name of Jesus, we decree and declare that we will get a supernatural touch from you, that we will know that you have us. That we know you have our business, that we know that you have our finances, that we know that you have our life, that we decree and declare that healing will go forth and touch every area of your life, every hurt in your life. Right now, in the name of Jesus, we decree and declare that it is so. And we decree that the mindset that it is coming up, that when you wake up in the morning, that you won't even know who you are, that it will be a new creator in you, that new ideas, new creativity shall hit your life, that you will have a God-given ideal that nobody else could have that ideal but God. But when you go forth in that ideal, that it shall attract millions, and ventures shall follow you. People shall follow you. We decree and declare that your influence is going up. But we speak healing go forth. We speak wholeness go forth right now, and it is so, and we decree and declare that it will happen in the name of Jesus. Amen.
Amen. Okay, thank you very much for that, my sister, and thank you for everything you've done. I'd like to say big shout for everybody that's listening. Big shout goes out to all the Muslim listeners as well, because this radio station is not just like a Christian thing. It's just a platform for those who love God Almighty, no matter what name you want to call him, whether you want to call him Jesus, Allah, Buddha, whatever you name, whatever name you want to call the Creator. That's not my problem. You understand? So that's why I say God created us all, you know what I mean, in the flesh. So make we all just give thanks and praise to the Almighty, regardless whether you're Christian, whether you're Muslim, whether you're whatever you are. It's just one love. That's how me see it.
Whatever you believe in.
Yeah, whatever. So if there's any Muslims listening and say, oh, it's a Christian thing, it's not that it's a Christian thing, it's a God thing. You understand? That's what it is.
It's a faith.
It's a God thing. You understand? I'm saying it's a spiritual thing. It's not a religion. It's a spiritual walk with the Creator, whatever name you call him. So thank you, my sister. Thank you with the red hair and the clean heart. All right?
You're welcome.
Okay. God bless you.
Thank you so much, Sharenika.
You're welcome.
All right, take care.
My darling.
All right, bless.
All right, bye-bye.
Yeah. Wow.
Yes, bless.
Oh, I think I locked you off. Did I lock you off?
No, Shanika's gone.
I can't even see you now. You gone too, but I can just about hear you.
No, your video's paused. Okay,
all right. So, my dear, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
All right. No, I'm good. Right, thank you.
What a lovely soul. What a lovely soul, bless her.
Well, yes, it's the truth. It's her truth. And as I said, there's women that go out there. There's women that go through some things that it leads to prostitution because they've got to put money on their table. So even if a one has to go out there and do that, we have to look at, even in the Bible and in the Quran, they talk about Mary Magdalene, you know what I mean? And Christ says, or Yeshua says, he who is without sin cast the first stone. You have to look at ourselves before we look at anybody, even if it's a prostitute. We've got no right to judge them because
anything, blessed. Yeah,
anything. So
look, you know, the thing about her I loved, right, is obviously not just her young age, but also the strength in her and how she's actually being bold and honest about everything, and she didn't stop there. She's actually going out to help other girls as well. And you know what, bless, no matter what,
you've actually seen her now and you've spoken to her, but she does leave. Like you said, she's like an angel, really. She leaves. She leaves her presence. Even now, she's left something here.
Okay, shall I give it back to her? What'd she leave?
You know what she left.
I text it to her. No, she never left nothing. She's given us something. Yeah, well,
exactly.
But she's given us all something, and even the listeners that are locked on, you know what I mean, and the ladies that listen to the show, you know what I mean.
Lovely.
As I said, we're not here to convert anybody's faith or none of that. It's a spiritual walk with your Creator.
Nothing to do with that.
You understand? That's what it's about. Because sometimes you have people that, we don't want to go there. We stay away from them, they're Christians. Stay away from them, they're Muslims. This platform is just spiritual. Your faith is your personal thing. It's your personal walk with Christ. It's your personal walk with Allah. You know what I mean? It's a personal walk. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what keeps you humble. God bless you. So,
thank you.
In saying that,
thank you to the listeners that were listening. Thank you for tuning in.
Yes, thank you, UNITYFY. And we've got 4 minutes left, so I'm gonna close up with this little bit. No matter what you're going through in life, no matter what you're going through, you know what I mean. You could be going through an abuse relationship. You could be lonely, especially at this lockdown thing where Babylon tried to lock down people and keep them in on their own. You're not on your own. Yeah, you have the Creator in you. God is within you.
Absolutely.
You understand? So all you do is focus on ask God to keep you safe and guide you through. So no matter what you're going through, you know what I mean, always hold on to your dreams, your faith. You know what I mean? You're in a relationship and you dream to have a peaceful life, and you dream to be peaceful home and be with your children with no fighting, no arguing. No matter what you're going through, still hold on to that. You know what I mean? Still hold on to your dream, hold on to your future, because without a vision, the people will perish. So hold on to your vision so you don't perish. Okay?
Yes.
Right.
Thank you. Stay strong, stay safe.
And stay blessed and take care of yourselves, people. Till next week. Who we got next week, guy?
Well, that's going to be a surprise as well.
It's a surprise.
Yep.
Okay, that's a funny name. Where does surprise come from? Yeah, well, Pakistan. You get a surprise from Pakistan, yeah? Okay, all right.
Well, don't forget, we'll be having a new 2-hour session on a Sunday.
Yes.
It's going to be from India.
Oh, yes, people. We got a show doing on a Sunday direct from India. And it's good that God is using us to unitify us as a people. Not as a religion, but as a people. You know what I mean? And that's what it's called, UNITYFY. You know what I mean? And bless them at the end.
Thank you.
So, my dear,
yes,
nice talking to you.
You too.
And
Have a nice day.
No. Hold on. You done a lot of work tonight. You done a lot tonight. You really overwhelmed me.
Do you know what? Do you know what au revoir mean? Au revoir.
No, you've worked so hard tonight. The amount of things that you were saying, you overwhelmed me. I thought you wouldn't stop talking.
Oh God.
Yeah, people, and that's how it is. All right, so same time next week, I'm going to play a tune for you. I wouldn't know. Actually, we're going to go and talk to who's in next. Russ Alkaline, I think it is. Let me see what it is. Yes, Russ Alkaline up next. He's going to go straight into that. So, people, stay blessed, look after yourself, be good. And if you can't be good, you got a problem.
All right, bless. Take it easy.
Take care, sister.
Take care, brother. Thank you very much.
All right.
See you next week.